Thank you very much. I am Anders Noreen. I'm the director of the Continental Scientific Drilling Facility at the University of Minnesota. And all of you are wonderful, gracious people who have dedicated your time to this important effort at science planning. So thank you. I have a few things to say at the beginning, a few opening slides. First of all, what is the CSD facility? Many of you probably know who we are. We provide support funded by the Instrumentation and Facilities Program at NSF to a range of projects and a range of phases. What we are focusing on, of course, in the next couple of days is the community coordination aspect, science planning aspect of the work that we do. So why do we do the science planning process? The simple answer is that these projects that all of you want to implement are complex. They require time, they require funding, they require alignment of resources in order to happen. And so these needs come at different times for projects, pre-drilling activities such as meetings, site visits, site surveys, engineering, sometimes infrastructure that is required for a specific project. And then, of course, the high cost of drilling operations. Together, these budgets exceed program capacity. And so multiple funding sources are required for projects to be implemented. So to the extent that we can organize ourselves as a community, we can accelerate the implementation of projects. That is what this is about, is reducing that time from the idea of a project to the implementation, to the drilling operations. So what we aim to do is articulate community priorities and identify resource gaps. That allows, it gives funding agencies advance notice of upcoming community needs. There are at least a couple of points to call out in particular about this part. One is that NSF provides annual contributions of about $1 million per year to ICDP. That money gets redistributed along with other member nation contributions to drilling projects. And the NSF contribution is substantial. It's about 25% of ICDP's annual budget. What we articulate as a community in terms of scientific vision and the project pressure provides the rationale, part of that rationale for continued support of ICDP's operation. In addition, there are other kinds of proposals that need to be submitted and funded in order for projects to move forward. Things like preparation, infrastructure, and for project implementation and the science. And having the context already in place for the evaluation of those proposals is important. It allows them to be seen as something that's part of a greater whole, rather than just those individual pieces that can look disconnected otherwise. This work also provides the basis for our facility resource and development planning. So the directions that we go as a facility is in response to the needs that are articulated by the community. This work has been something that the community has engaged in over the last 15 years, at least. And there are a number of white papers that have come out and reports, which many of you have looked at over time and which are being updated now. So some of the recent efforts in science planning, our facility convened workshops in 2016, 17, and 18, and produced a community science plan. This in turn contributed to the National Academies report released in 2020 that called out a couple of things, at least about continental drilling that should be addressed to remove barriers to implementation and accelerate the science. Following that, there was the establishment of a CSD task force that tried to identify the next steps. There were virtual community meetings, some in collaboration with the Earth Rates Research Coordination Network. There were virtual meetings with NSF program officers that sought to identify the best ways forward. And then at the time of the release of the mid-scale research infrastructure program at NSF, we pivoted to organizing the submission of proposals that would address some of the needs that the community articulated. These are not the only outcomes. The most recent science plan from 2019 included the submission of 45 different project ideas. Of those, 12 have been fully implemented. 14 of them have additional projects in advance for operations. And there are a number of cross-cutting developments that were brought forth as well. Things like expanding human capital for project support, database enhancements and linkages, the acquisition of equipment for certain kinds of activities in the field, instrumentation and workflow development, as well as training materials and these kinds of things, all of which were called out by the community in the science plan from 2019. There's one more that's shown on the right here, which is an important one and one that we need to keep in mind. It was long recognized by the community that there was not a good mechanism. There was not a mechanism to fund free drilling activities, things like site surveys, meetings, engineering studies, and this kind of thing. And in 2022, the updated instrumentation and facilities solicitation in the Division of Earth Sciences called out specifically the need to support these kinds of activities through proposals that would strengthen the eventual full drilling proposal submission to PAOs for those science programs. Things like workshops, community planning activities, site surveys, and so on. And there have already been a number of projects that have taken advantage of this mechanism. These are some of the benefits of the process that we have engaged in, and there are many others. So, what have we been doing in this round? We have been working with our facility committee to develop the plan that has led us to this workshop and through all the steps before this. I want to give a special thanks to our committee members who are here in the room. Our chair, Lisa Park-Bausch, as well as Melissa Burke, Jerry Fritz, Brett Carpenter, and Chris Schultz. There are others. I believe we have at least one, Jonathan Overs-Farner, who is online right now, and Jack Williams, John Peltier, and Randy Toner, who could not be here with us today. I think I'm going to wait to introduce Kat until she is in the room. I think all of you know her,
Okay.
but I'm going to embarrass her when she's here. Okay. So we this plan that was developed together involved the establishment of domain-specific working groups. 7 of these working groups under the broad categories shown here. I think all of you are familiar with what those categories are. There are 105 members in total of the working groups combined. Something like 15 people per group. The process has included, of course, the establishment of these working groups and a science planning website. There have been, over several weeks, weekly Zoom meetings with each of the working groups to review content from recent science plans and to draft text for the new versions of these plans. Though once those got to a stable form, they were distributed to the broader community. We had more than 600 researchers that were directly invited to review these plans and to provide further input. As that those ideas were integrated into the text, they were finalized or at least brought to another stable point and then delivered to NSF and posted on our website for review and scrutiny by the. There is ongoing development in each of the working groups to produce a manuscript that can be submitted to a journal that's appropriate for each of the working groups The idea here is to get something that is published and citable and provides credit to the co-authors of the text. At any point in this process, we encourage more review, more input by other people who have not yet had a chance to do that. These documents are as strong and as complete as the people who have been looking at them. And inevitably, there are going to be additional perspectives that we want to get into those documents. So we encourage you to tell your colleagues about them, to take a look and help change them. So right now, I would like to just give a quick thank you to everyone who's participated in the working groups, and please give. It's been quite a lot of work, and of course, it's not even done yet. So why are we here? That brings us to the workshop. We are here to focus on integration. We want to present and discuss the vision articulated in each of the domain-specific working groups. That's what we're going to do in this morning's session. In the afternoon, early afternoon, we're going to have breakout groups that will work on identifying commonalities from each of the working groups. In the middle of the afternoon, we're going to have a strategy session, thinking about the major new opportunities and directions that we can go as a community. At the end of the day today, we'll have a showcase for recent and future projects. We're going to talk about implementation strategies that work for projects and what is not working well. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to have a session focused on implementation. So what are the next steps that get us from our vision to implementation of not just projects, but that vision as well. So outputs from this process, as I mentioned, there are domain-specific manuscripts that are being developed now. We also intend to stitch together these manuscripts and some introductory information, some summary information into a white paper that can hold all of these together in one document. And a summary article that notionally we think probably belongs in a place like EOS, but is not specific to a particular domain. Okay, so for this workshop, we do have a code of conduct. It's up there on screen. It is also on each of your tables. Please familiarize yourselves with this code of conduct. It basically asks all of you to be good discussion participants, listen to others, don't dominate discussions, be prepared to take different ideas in stride without becoming flustered or angry. So at this time we have a moment, I think, for a question or two, if there's any clarification that needs to happen. And then we will move into our presentation.